Clive, despite growing up in a highborn family, is considered a black sheep. Clive has a pet dog with white hair, more on that later. Clive has a close relationship with his uncle. Clive has a bad relationship with his mum, just as John does with his motherly figure. After the downfall of his family, Clive is branded as a bearer, a second-class citizen forced into servitude. He serves as part of an imperial squad of branded assassins called the Bastards, which is not wholly unlike serving in the Night's Watch. Also, you know, he gets called a bastard a lot.
You're Ned Stark's bastard, aren't you?
Both fully dress in black, and they carry a big f***-off sword to boot. Speaking of black, both John and Clive rock the dark locks, while their siblings tend not to. Clive is eventually revealed to be the dominant of fire, who can summon the fire demon Ifrit. And John is revealed as a Targaryen, the only existing Westeros lineage capable of wielding fire demons of their own. And lastly, well, they just look the same. Absolutely nothing like the Ironborn, who live on the Iron Islands, that also consider themselves an independent kingdom.
You're Ironborn.
They're even both bloody islands located just off the west coast of the map. It's definitely not subtle with this one. Speaking of not subtle, this man is named Goats, aka Hodor. He's a friendly but slow giant who spends time with our heroes and even carries one of them on his back at one point. Another companion is Clive's loyal pet dog called Torgal, the white pup we mentioned earlier. Later on he becomes huge, and eventually you find out he's actually a wolf from the north, who was found by Clive's father Elwyn on the road one day by chance. That is just basically straight up the backstory for Ghost. That's unbelievable.
Run to the litter. That one's yours, Snow.
Also, just like Ghost, he's bloody useful in battle too. Gav is Clive's Geordie mate, who seems to be a unique character for the majority of the game. That is until he and Clive enter the deserted, monster-filled territory of Ash and stumble upon a solitary woman called Edda, who he immediately takes a shine to. Just like her Game of Thrones counterpart Gilly, Edda happens to be pregnant and will no doubt name her son Little Gav. Because of course Clive's best friend had to just have a little bit of Sam Tarly in him. It's not just the characters that bear a passing resemblance to the world of right hand before he lost it. Am I stretching with this one? Well, no, because just like when Jamie loses his hand, Kupka gets a metal replacement. A major plot point in Final Fantasy XVI is the treatment of bearers, people who can naturally perform magic. They're treated as slaves by most nations, and Clive aims to make life better for them all. He is essentially a breaker of chains.
But a chain can always be broken, as long as one has the will to break it.
And yes, he is actually talking about breaking the chain here too, referring to it as a system that needs to be torn down, much like a certain wheel that needed to be broken.
I'm going to break the wheel.
Remember the mention of the Night King earlier? Well, Final Fantasy XVI's big bad is Ultima, a godlike being looking to destroy all human will, who's happily turning every living creature in his path into an icy looking, mindless zombie army called White Walkers. Called the Akashic. And finally, these missions are called A Song of Hope and Fire and Ice, the ultimate example of changing up the homework a bit so it doesn't look like you copied.
What's this?
A Song of Ice and Fire.
And that's everything we spotted, but honestly, there's likely dozens more. What did you notice? And for everything else Final Fantasy XVI